So as we're not going to get football back for a while, we're going to have to decide this year's team of the season based on the games that have been played so far. So what I thought we'd do for today's video is go through the championship. I'll give you guys what has been my personal team of the season so far, and I've done it in the style of the cards that I'd like to see on FIFA 20 Ultimate Team. Obviously I know when they do the team of the season, you do it for the whole of the EFL, so League 1 and League 2 as well as the championship are all combined. For today's video we're just going to be focusing on the championship, so we've got a starting 11, all the subs and reserves, and a couple of other cards thrown in there as well. Let me know down below who do you think deserves to make it into the team of the season. I'm interested to get your guys' thoughts on this one. And before we do hop into today's video, make sure to go and download OneFootball using the link in the top line of the description down below. In the footballing world, we've not got a lot going on at the moment, but if you do want to keep up to date with all the recent updates in terms of, you know, when's football going to get back underway, the proposals that the EFL have perhaps got in place for how they're going to go ahead and complete the season, then OneFootball is a really handy place to stay up to date with everything, so link down below. So before we get into the actual team of the season, I've come up with a few cards who didn't perhaps make it into my team of the season, but I think deserved a bit of recognition. The first batch of players I've got, I've made them flashback cards, so these are people who I think have had a brilliant season, and coming into this season, we weren't really expecting much from them. You know, we all thought they were sort of past their best, but this season they proved a lot of people wrong, so I've given these people flashback cards. We'll go into them now. So the first player getting a flashback card for me is going to be Chris Martin. I think it'd be so cool if EA did something like this for the championship. They're probably not going to because they don't put much effort into the league, but people who I think could be worthy of one. Chris Martin this season, 9 goals and 6 assists after coming off the back of several disappointing seasons really. Playing as that target man, he's brilliant at setting up others, seen by the amount of assists he's got this season, and Chris Martin definitely deserves a bit of recognition. Back to his best this season, I'd say. Another player who I'd say has been really back to his best, or certainly a lot better than he has been in previous years, has been Stuart Downing for Blackburn. He signed from Middlesbrough. His last season at Middlesbrough, he was sort of a bit part player here and there. He came into Rovers this season, and I didn't know how much of an impact he'd have on them, but he's been absolutely brilliant, and he's really taken on that new role, playing in central midfield. He's played a variety of positions so far this season, but he's been heavily involved in the play, and in the absence of some of their other, you know, creative players being missing, you know, the likes of Dak and Holtby, Stuart Downing's really stepped up this season with 2 goals and 7 assists. He's been a vital source of their creativity. And then the last of these flashback cards is going to go to Jake Livermore. He's been absolutely outstanding for West Brom this season. I don't think he's always got the recognition he deserves, obviously. You guys will know by now if you've watched the channel for a while, I absolutely, you know, lord over Ben Pearson as being one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. I absolutely love the guy, but Jake Livermore and some of the performances he's come out with this season have been absolutely ridiculous. That performance away at Bristol City when they beat them by 3-0, Jake Livermore was an absolute machine in that game. He lost no battles in that one. Also, could you imagine like a card like that in FIFA 20 for Jake Livermore? The guy would be absolutely unreal, but definitely deserves some credit this season. He's been brilliant. So moving on into the reserves of my team, the first player we're going to have coming in is going to be Asai Samuel of QPR. How this guy doesn't have 5-star skills on FIFA, it absolutely beats me, but the guy's taken his game to another level this season. 5 goals, 7 assists. Watching him play, one of the most enjoyable players to watch in the championship. Obviously, the last game of football that I got to see was QPR beating Preston in the Deepdale, and Asai Samuel was absolutely fantastic in that one. I think that in a lot of ways, he reminds me of Adama Traore and his last season at Middlesbrough, with the ease of which he goes past players. Like that goal he scored away at Birmingham when he took the ball from his own half, managed to hold off Maxime Collin with his strength and just outpace him and then fire it into the back of the net. The guy's absolutely brilliant, and I mean, what a card that would be in FIFA if he had 5-star skills. Next up on the reserves, we're then going to have Lee Tomlin. It was no surprise to see Cardiff's Upton in form came with Lee Tomlin getting back into the side when Neil Harris was introduced as their new manager, and to be honest, I could have given him a flashback card as well, because he really has been a player who's been back to his best this season after faltering for a little while. The guy's been brilliant though, a brilliant source of creativity playing just behind the striker. He scored some brilliant goals and assisted some brilliant goals as well. That one that leads away, ridiculous. We're then going to have Brian Mbeumo, and I mean, it shows the quality of some of the players that we've got coming up that Mbeumo is not getting into this team with 14 goals and 6 assists this season. I remember when Brentford came to Deepdale early on this season, I watched Mbeumo and I just wasn't convinced by him. It took him a little bit of time to find his feet, but boy did he eventually. He's been a brilliant part of that forward 3 that scored so many goals for them so far this season, and he really has been an excellent addition given how young he is as well. Daniel Johnson for Preston this season has been his best in terms of goal involvement, 16 so far this season with 11 goals and 5 assists. He's been really excelling in playing further up the pitch. He was coming off the back of a really frustrating season last time round where he was mostly being played as sort of like deep line playmaker make it. And while he did have, you know, a good game now and then in that position, it wasn't best suited to him. Moving him up to that number 10, he's been a completely different player this season, being much more involved in the play, less reliant on tracking back, and that still does get the best out of him. You know, when Daniel Johnson is playing well, Preston play well, and it's that simple. Andre Ayew for Swansea with 12 goals and 5 assists so far this season really has dragged them through a couple of tough matches. You know, he's come up with game winners on multiple occasions. Swansea have tinkered with their attacking lineup throughout the season, but the one consistent that they've had in there throughout the season has been Ayew, and it's been a testament to how consistent he has been. And then to finish off the reserves, we have Eliasson. It's been what a season. In the amount of games that Eliasson's played this season, the goal contributions that he's returned with are absolutely ridiculous. He's leading the way along with Pereira for assists this season, 12 in the Championship. He's also got 3 goals to add along with that, but when you look at how many games he started, only 17 this season, it just makes this statistic even more bizarre. It was a bit weird when he couldn't really get much of a look in at the start of the season, but he's really shown his quality. For me personally, one of my favourite players to watch in the league. So now moving on into my bench, starting out as a goalkeeper, this one was a tough choice. You've got a lot of contenders in there this season for the best goalkeeper in the Championship. On the bench, I've gone for Marek Rodak just because of, I think that his introduction into this team has had such an impact on Fulham's defensive record. I've been making videos, you know, the Championship roundup throughout the season, and I can only think of one other keeper who I think I've praised more than Marek Rodak for some of the brilliant individual saves he's made, and he gets into my starting 11. You've got a lot of other choices in there this season. I mean, do you go for clean sheets? Because if you do, that's Kiko Casilla, who's kept the most clean sheets this season, but then you look at, you know, some of the mistakes that were seeping into his game recently. Walton had really stepped up recently for Blackburn. Bilkowski's been really consistent for Millwall all year. For me personally, I think that in terms of game-winning saves, Rodak just edges it for me to getting onto the bench. Sean Hutchinson at Millwall, absolutely fantastic defender for Millwall this season. Their defensive record's been brilliant. We of course just mentioned Bilkowski then, but under route they've been so efficient at the back, whether that's playing, you know, that 5 at the back system or a 4 at the back system. Hutchinson's been absolutely crucial to them. As well as that, he's got that goal touch. He scored 5 goals for them this season. One of them was at Deepdale away. Next up on the bench, we're then going to have Luke Ayling. Now I'll leave a poll for you guys to vote on who's been the best right back this season. Has it been Luke Ayling or has it been Matty Cash? I think the majority of people who have watched the Championship this season would probably say that they have been the front runners in terms of the best right backs this season, and it's a really interesting toss up because, especially since I'd say the turn of the year, Luke Ayling's performances have been absolutely staggering for Leeds. He's been brilliant. 4 goals and 3 assists, as well as being an excellent defender, an average match rating of 7.31. You know, he scored that outrageous goal against Huddersfield. Next up, we're then going to have Ben Pearson. Preston currently sits 6th in the Championship. A lot of that is down to the quality of Ben Pearson. We don't need to stay on him for too long because I'm sure you guys are sick of me talking about him by now, but what a season it's been for Ben Pearson. I think in the past he's been seen by a lot of opposition fans as just the sort of typical hard man in the Championship that just looks to foul people and break up play in the middle, but this season, and in previous seasons, but this year especially, he's been so much more than that. It's been his range of passing and the way he picks people out, which he's really taken to a new level this season. John Swift's going to make it in as well. 5 goals, 10 assists this season. The guy's been absolutely brilliant. Ovi Jory as well. I mean, I was between Swift and Jory for this place on the bench. Both of them, I mean, deserve their place in this team. They both deserve recognition. They've both been brilliant, but I've just edged John Swift in this one. Out of everyone on the bench so far, I'd say Jed Wallace is the most unlucky not to be getting into my starting 11. And I've gone over this video countless amounts of times. I've changed the team around, and Jed Wallace has been in and out and in and out. I couldn't decide on 2 players, but it's a really tough toss-up. I mean, Jed Wallace has been outstanding this season. He's got 19 goal contributions, 10 goals and 9 assists. He scored some absolute worldies, and just the efficiency of performance has been absolutely remarkable from Wallace this season. He's been brilliant. Then finishing off the bench, I've gone for Colin Grant, but I was so conflicted on this choice. I mean, Colin Grant has been absolutely brilliant, but in terms of the other strikers who were in consideration, Lewis Grabban for Forest's goals have been crucial. Cully Woodrow for Barnsley. I've just edged Colin Grant as he had more goal contributions overall, but that one was a really tough one. Other honourable mentions go to the likes of Sam Clucas, Darragh Lenihan, Patrick Bauer. There was a lot of choices I could have put into it, but now without anything to do, let's get into my starting 11. Starting in goal, pretty obvious choice, but I have gone with Bryce Samba. Forest have come a long way from having Muric in net at the start of the season, but Bryce Samba's impact on the Championship this season I think has been absolutely massive, and for Forest in general, having a settled back 4 in front of him, and some of the ridiculous saves that Samba's pulled out throughout the season so far with 12 clean sheets to his name. I couldn't be looking past Bryce Samba. And it's going to be the Forest double starting out this team. Coming in at right back, we are then going to have Matty Cash. Like we mentioned before, this position was a real toss-up between Luke Ayling and Matty Cash. I've just edged Matty Cash in this debate, but I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts from it. I think that the way he's transitioned from a winger to a fullback and being one of the best fullbacks in the league this season has been absolutely fabulous. Because of that natural position of being a winger, he's brilliant at making those overlapping runs and brilliant in those attacking phases of play, but also the way he's worked in his defensive game this season, Matty Cash has been excellent. Centre-back number 1 is going to be Ben White, on loan at Leeds this season. Massive impact on them in terms of the Bielsa way of playing out from the back. Having that ball-playing centre-back at the heart of the defence has been crucial for Leeds this season. And at the start of the season, there was, of course, that whole debate about, you know, what was happening with Pontus Jansson. He eventually went to Brentford. Jansson, by the way, another honourable mention for this team, but Ben White and the way he seamlessly came into this Leeds defence, I think he's going to be one of the first names on a lot of people's teams of this season. Next up, it's going to be Semi Ajayi of West Brom, no doubt about it, one of the bargain buys of the summer. I absolutely love this guy from his time at Rotherham. Obviously, he can either play as a centre-half or a little bit further forward as a defensive midfielder. He's played at the heart of defence for West Brom this season and has been absolutely colossal for them, and one of the reasons why they are currently sat in the top 2, as well as that also adds a goal threat, scoring 5 goals this season. Then we get to left back. This was a tough choice. I've gone for Christian Pedersen. I believe him to be the most reliable left back so far this season. Obviously, a lot of people will probably throw Joe Bryan in there, but for me personally, I like Joe Bryan a lot. You know, from his time at Bristol City and this season at Fulham, he's been great going forward. He's got 7 assists to his name. He's had a brilliant link up with Mitrovic up front, but defensively, there's just been one too many times, I think, where Joe Bryan's been caught out for me to throw him into this team, and I think that Pedersen, with that reliability at the back, also his ability to go forward as well, I think he just trumps it for me. Moving into midfield, we are going to have Calvin Phillips, 90 rated. What a card that would be, but no doubt deserves his place in this team. You know, he was fantastic for Leeds last season. This season has even managed to elevate his game even further up. By the way, if anyone's done Calvin Phillips League SBC on FIFA 20, you'll know how overpowered that card is, so this one would be ridiculous. But in terms of real life, Phillips this season, for a complete defensive midfielder, it's not even like the Championship we're talking about anymore. It's like the whole of England. Like, I think he should be in the England squad personally. Holding midfielders, I think we're quite light in the national team. So, you know, the Euros in 2021, I reckon Phillips is getting that call. In midfield next to him, I mean, there can be no debates about this one. The Berriese straight into that starting 11. 12 goals, 8 assists this season. The guy has been a joke. I mentioned it before when I was talking about Asai Samuel. The last game of football I watched was QPR beating us at Deepdale, and Eze absolutely ran the show. In terms of individual performances against Preston this season, the 2 that I would hold as the best against Preston this season would be Jared Bowen when we played Hull away and Berriese at Deepdale. This guy made Deepdale his playground. And then finishing off the midfield trio, we are going to have Mateus Pereira of West Brom. What a midfield 3 that'll be, by the way. Eze, Phillips and Pereira. Oh my word, that'll be unreal in the Premier League. But Pereira leads the way for assists this season with 12 to his name. Also got 6 goals along with that as well. Has been the heartbeat of this West Brom side, and I've made him the highest rated player because I would probably say my player of the season has been Pereira, all things considered, in terms of where West Brom are in the league and who's been the main driving force behind that. This season, there's no doubt it could have been, you know, playing in the Premier League. And I think this front 3 picks itself, really. We're going to have Ben Rama, 10 goals, 7 assists, 7 man of the match performances, an average match rating of 7.4. I think watching Ben Rama play, he is that sort of, that closest player we've had to sort of like an Adel Taarabt type in the Championship for the past few years. The guy on the ball just does things that you don't think are possible. He'll whip out a roulette or a rainbow flick like it's absolutely nothing. He's got the end product to go along with it, and an absolute joy to watch this season. Joining him on the front line is going to be his teammate Ollie Watkins with 22 goals this season and 3 assists to go alongside it. We all were a bit unsure about Brentford after they'd lost Neil Mbappé, you know, who was going to go in and fill that void. Ollie Watkins has done unbelievable in that job this season. He's taken his game to another level at only 24 as well. There was Premier League interest in the summer and in January, but I'm glad he decided to stick it out with Brentford because that front 3 that they play with has just been an absolute joy to watch. And then finishing it off with the top scorer, it is going to be Mitrovic. I think we can all agree on this one, really. Fulham would be nowhere near the position they're on at the moment if they did not have Mitrovic. I was surprised they managed to keep hold of him over the summer, to be honest. I thought that there would be a lot of Premier League interest in him after how well he did in their relegation season, really. But we all knew about the danger of Mitrovic after Fulham's promotion season last time. His goals to game record in this division is an absolute joke. He bullies defenders. I think he walks into any side in the league. But guys, there we have it. There were my thoughts on who should make it into this season's championship team of the season. Get your suggestions and thoughts in the comments down below. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this one. There's no doubt that I've missed out loads of players because it's been a great season in the championship where a lot of talent has been on display. So let me know all your thoughts down below. But apart from that, that will wrap it up for today's video. If you did go in to enjoy, please do leave a like and make sure you do subscribe for a bit of regular championship content. But apart from that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.